It's an original six showdown. Blackhawks, Maple Leafs, hockey. Coming up on the CHGO Blackhawks pregame show. Blah. Welcome into the CHGO Blackhawks pregame show presented by Coors Light. I'm Jay Zawoski with Greg Boyson and Mario Tirabassi.
Oh.
Nate's here running the show, and before we tell you about hockey, we've got to tell you about important stuff. Our Cyber Monday sale is going on right now at store.allcitynetwork.com. That is 30% off everything in the store, up to 75% off all sale items. Die Hard, you save even more, as is tradition. So check that out. And speaking of diehards, we have a sale that ends tomorrow. $36 for a whole year of Die Hard membership. So if you're not a Die Hard yet, jump in there. Grab it now. It has never been cheaper. It will probably never be cheaper again. $36 for 36 hours only. And a lot of those 36 hours are already gone. So go to allchgo.com. Become a Die Hard today. We'd love to have you. You'll save on all of our takeovers. We got one to announce very, very soon. And you're going to want to save on that one. And, of course, 20% off all of our merch, takeovers, tailgates, everything that goes along with it. Become a diehard today. AllCHGO.com.
Yes. Don't delay. Supplies are running out.
Yes. Time is limited.
Yeah.
Et cetera, et cetera.
I think you have till 8 p.m. Central?
I believe 8
tomorrow?
p.m. tomorrow. Yes.
Yeah.
That's 36
so
hours.
There you go.
In my world.
Yeah. It's about 26 hours from right now. So do it.
Do it.
Become a diehard. You can also gift diehard memberships to people in your life that you know are big diehard fans of Chicago sports, and God love you if you are. But you can give them an awesome Christmas gift and say, here's exclusive access and discounts and everything to CHGO, because I know you'll love it.
We throw the discounts at you.
Yeah.
So jump on it.
Yeah.
Take advantage. These I know this Die Hard promotion has been huge. We've had a bunch of people sign up today. Fortunately, those are not limited.
Yeah, right.
There's no finite amount of Die Hard membership.
No.
So join.
More the merrier.
Tell a friend. Get one for a friend. It's a great deal. It will not be better. So jump on that. AllCHGO.com. And again, to save on the Cyber Monday sale, it is store.allcitynetwork.com. And I should mention that within the last few months, we've changed it so discounts apply across the company. So PHNX, DNVR, etc. You'll be able to access all their stuff.
Careful there.
Yeah. Almost knocked over my $6 coffee.
So excited.
I needed this today, man. Oof.
Yeah, apparently you did.
I am jittery from it now, but all day I've been dragging ass.
Easy there, Lawrence.
Let's hope the Hawks have more energy than I do, because they're going to need it. The Leafs are good. They are loaded. They've got a lot of firepower. But as we've talked about all year, fellas, like the Hawks seem to show up against the better teams they play. And hopefully that's the case tonight, because they're going to need it.
Well, you got Maple Leafs killer Arvid Soderblom in net tonight, so I feel good. I think it's false hope, but I feel good about like the team being able to come out and have a good performance. I'm in a better mood than I was 22 hours ago after the Blue Jackets game. So yeah, we'll see tonight. Auston Matthews is back in the lineup for the Maple Leafs, so that's not great for the Blackhawks. But they still have some injuries that they're dealing with other players. I know Jake McCabe is not playing tonight, so I'm very sad about that. But that actually benefits the Blackhawks to have him out, because he's been one of their top defensemen all year.
Yeah, I was doing the game day preview this morning, and I was putting together the probable lines, and I was kind of like, how is this team as good as they are? They have a lot of injuries right now, so the Hawks are catching the Maple Leafs at the right time. You mentioned Jake McCabe is out. Bobby McMahon is out. Max Domi, David Kampf, Max Pacioretty, Jarnkrok, Dakota Mermis, and Yanni Hackapaa. That's a pretty good injured list, right?
Dakota Mermis is not a real person.
It is.
Yeah, it is. Oh, yeah, it is.
It's Dakota Mermis.
Definitely.
Used to be the little Mermis. Now he's the big Mermis.
Don't besmirch the Mermis.
Yeah.
Dakota Mermis.
Dakota Mermis is a tough guy. He'd beat your ass.
Well, he better be. It's
Yes.
the boy named Sue. That's a terrible. Hey, Mermis, get over here.
Joey Jojo Jr. Shabadoo.
That's the worst name I ever heard.
But you look at the lineup because of all those injuries. Old friend Alex Nylander is on the fourth line.
If ever there's been a guaranteed goal scorer in a game, feels like Alex Nylander is guaranteed to pot one tonight.
So here are the Maple Leafs lines from their morning skate today. Matthew Knies. Is it Knies or Knies? I never remember. Knies. All right, Matthew Knies.
Matt Nye, the Maple Leaf
Auston
guy.
Matthews, William Nylander. Good first line.
Pretty good.
That'll work.
Second line, Pontus Holmberg. John Tavares, Mitch Marner. Decent second line.
Good second line.
yeah.
Yes, that'll do it.
Third line, Nicholas Robinson, Fraser Minton, and Steven Lorentz. Okay. Fourth line,
Stanley Cup champion Steven Lorentz.
Nikita Grebenkin. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Connor Dewar, who I saw play for the Iowa Wild 10 years ago, and Alex Nylander. So that bottom six is beatable. If you can contain the top six,
Good luck.
you can have some and their defensive core. I mean, again, top pair Oliver Ekman Larson and Chris Tanev, pretty good.
Tanev's been really good for them.
Morgan Riley and Philippe Myers is your second pair. Philippe Myers, first NHL game since October 26th.
Okay.
And,
Chomping at the bit, baby.
Here's your third pair. Simon Benoit and Connor Timmins.
Sure. Those are both
Have at it.
guys.
I mean,
Yeah,
it is a winnable game.
Yeah, it on paper you'd say this is probably the most beat up the Leafs could be. If they had played them a few days ago, you would have played this team without Auston Matthews, and you'd be like even more on paper have a good matchup. But again, this is not. There's no way that the Blackhawks should take any team lightly, even if it is the Maple Leafs hobbling around on crutches and bandaged head like they're a Civil War veteran or something like that. Like, this is still a Maple Leafs team that is better than you, even with them being tough. So they got to rise to the occasion.
They've got 30 points a lot because they've played very good team defense this year, which is not a surprise with Craig Berube behind the bench now. And their goaltending has been outstanding.
Really Stolars
and Wool. They have a combined .922 save percentage and 2.23 goal
That'll get it done.
average.
Yeah.
So pretty good. Let's see. Usually goaltending is a giant question mark for the Maple Leafs. It's cost them in the past. I mean, you've got two, Anthony Stolars. This is his first time being a starter, and in Toronto. Let's see if he still has a .921 save percentage when the pressure cooker gets turned up a little bit come March and April. But we'll see. But they've been good this year, so the Hawks are going to have their work cut out for them tonight. Regardless of who's playing up front, the goalies have been the last line of defense, and they've been very good this year.
Well, Stolars is one of the guys, as we were entering free agency
Another
this summer,
Stanley Cup champion,
that we were saying this might make sense for the Hawks in terms of a free agent to bring in, and he's been really good with the Leafs. And again, like you said, his first opportunity to really compete for a starter role, and he's stood up to it. They've had two really good with Tanev and him, two really good free agent signings. Now Tanev, they better win, because in 2 or 3 years that's going to be a disaster.
I mean, even Oliver Ekman Larson has been good for them. He's had a career regeneration here the last couple seasons. I mean, he won the Stanley Cup with the Panthers last year, and he was bought out twice.
Yeah,
or at least one was he? No, Coyotes traded him, and then Vancouver.
Vancouver bought him
out. Yeah. But he's a guy that was for a while one of those maybe most underrated defensemen in the game, and then like injuries caught up with him when in Vancouver, and his career was all but over, and he's had a real nice run here, and he's been good for the Maple Leafs as well. So, top loaded Maple Leafs team, but if you can somehow get one of the bottom six line and that bottom pairing trapped in your own end, you might be all right.
Yeah. So here's your Blackhawks that are former Leafs. By the way,
All of
Tyler
them.
Bertuzzi, TJ Brody, Ilya Mikheyev, Nick Foligno, Peter Mrazek, and Joey Anderson, who is not in the lineup, obviously. A lot of ex-Leafs on the Blackhawks.
Yeah, a lot of crossover between these two teams. If only they were all healthy and able to play against each other, that would have been a lot more fun. If McCabe and Domi were in, that would have been cool. But
I future Blackhawk Mitch Marner on the other side.
Oh, sure, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking, tonight I would love to see that this team shakes off the, I don't even know, rust, cobwebs, whatever was ailing them in the last game to where it was so sloppy. Like there's no room for them to play that way against this Toronto team. It cost them last night against the Blue Jackets. So hopefully tonight we can see some more like crisp passes, no fumbled, cut down on the fumbled pucks, cut down on the turnovers, cut down on the self-inflicted turnovers. Like, if you're trying to get a stretch pass and it gets blocked, all right, that's one thing. But if you're just throwing blind passes to no one or just going cross crease, a half-assed pass, play with purpose. That's the biggest thing tonight. And you're not going to eliminate all the mistakes, but hopefully you can cut down on what you had last night.
Yeah, and I think when we see the Hawks play like they did against Columbus, it is that taking the opponent lightly thing, right? You don't see, and I think the number one culprit last night was Taylor Hall. Like, there were so many times where he had the puck on the rush, maybe a step on a defender, or retrieved a puck out of the corner, and it would be Connor Bedard or whoever it was surrounded by 3 Jackets, and he'd just throw the puck in there, trying to thread the needle ever so perfectly. And it's good to see him confident again and feeling good about himself, but maybe a little too confident. Let's dial that back and just simplify.
That was part of the reason he ended up being scratched. Luke Richards said too many turnovers just inside the blue line, like not getting the puck in deep and being responsible with it.
Yeah, so hopefully, with the close proximity to yesterday's loss, and once again, the post-game show here and all the post-game comments from the Hawks being, we really just need to keep things simple and blah, 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 blah. That game just happened. So hopefully it's fresh in mind, and we do see the Hawks to come out and play ready and play a solid road game against a superior opponent.
Yeah.
Far superior opponent.
Well, I mean, same thing that we said last night when they beat the Wild. It was, even though they were at home, they played a really good road game. Well, now you're on the road, and you need to play that way to beat the Maple Leafs. You can't play the way you played last night and expect any result that's going to be positive one, especially against Toronto. Interested
to see how Connor Bedard plays in this one. He's obviously looked like a different player since scoring the other day against Dallas. Scored again against Columbus. Lots of shooting attempts, lots of shots on goal, which is what you want to see from him. But we did have a little bit of frustration with him in yesterday's game with, the 2-on-1, trying to get over to Philip Kurashev and trying to be unselfish. Take a page from Auston Matthews, who just, if I've got a great shot, maybe the best in hockey, I'm going to use it every opportunity I have.
Yeah.
And maybe having a little bit of, playing in Toronto. I know he made a lot of him playing in Vancouver, his hometown, but Toronto's the mecca of hockey. And I think he's going to want to perform well in this game. There's going to be a lot of eyes on him, a lot of national media on him. So are you rolling your eyes? I said it's the mecca.
No, I'm just waiting for Greg to do it.
Oh.
I can feel the tension and
it's not
rising as you
Meccas
say
can
that.
suck.
It's not wrong. The problem is, we won't even go there.
No, let's go there.
He's not wrong. Though people in Montreal may argue with you. But it is definitely, for a Canadian kid to be playing in Toronto, it's a big deal. It's a huge thing, regardless of anything else. If you've grew up in Canada and you've played for Team Canada and juniors, playing in Toronto against the Maple Leafs has to be a big deal.
All right, it is time to light the lamp with our friends at Coors Light. Did we ever come to a formal agreement? I think we just said some former Leaf.
Doesn't really matter.
It's going to light the lamp tonight. We're just increasing our odds.
I think the best chance is Tyler Bertuzzi, but
Revenge.
I'll take any former Leaf on the Hawks doing something positive tonight.
I mean, it's like a 50% chance. With all the former Leafs on there.
The odds are good. That way we can't lose. Yes, we can.
We'll find a way.
Well, Light the Lamp presented by our friends at Coors Light. And if you're just getting down on your couch, getting ready to watch the game, and you realize, oh my God, I chose chill too many times this weekend. I've got no more Coors Light in my fridge. Don't worry. You can order some right now via Instacart by going to CoorsLight.com/CHGO hockey. You don't want to watch a hockey game that is going to be stressful and intense without the opportunity to choose chill with Coors Light, because it is the perfect accessory when choosing chill. You know, when those mountains turn blue on your bottle or your can, that your Coors Light is ice cold, in fact, as the Rockies. So when you embrace the chill mindset, it's a good time to choose chill and crack open the Coors Light. So make the most out of those times you choose to chill with Coors Light. Get it delivered straight to your door with Instacart. Go to CoorsLight.com/CHGO hockey. It'll be there right in time for probably first intermission. Celebrate responsibly. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. All right, we have Luke Richardson standing by. We'll play Luke, and then we will hear and share the lines for tonight's game. Here's Luke, courtesy of the Blackhawks.
We have Sortblom starting in net. The only change in the lineup is we're putting Allen in for Crevier.
With Bertuzzi, what have you seen from him? He only has 3 shots in the last 9 games combined.
Yeah,
assists, but
yeah, he's had a couple of really good plays, and he's really hard to handle around the net, which kind of allowed Nick get free on the 5-on-3, because you're always worried about Bertuzzi's stick around that area as well. So he does some little subtle things that help other people out on the game. Even we showed a clip the other day. Thought he's been skating much better, and staying up on his feet and just playing the full 5-on-5 game in the neutral zone. He had a great bump on Nick's brother Foligno in Minnesota, because he's a great forechecker and intimidating guy in our defenseman. So just a subtle bump in front of him when he dumped it in, it just gives our D an extra second to handle things. So he's doing some nice things, and hopefully he gets rewarded with that, with more than just a couple of assists here and there, and he will, because he goes to those hard areas.
When you look at his career, he's kind of a slow starter a lot of the time, and then really heats up as the year goes on. Do you have any ideas why that might be the case?
I don't know, but I haven't really followed him that closely in the past. Obviously, this year it seems like the other day he was skating better in the last couple of games and touching the puck more. So maybe that's it. Maybe it's his time, and that's great, because we need it.
What have you made of how Connor's navigated his second season a couple months in?
You know what? It's always difficult when there's high expectations on the outside and internally. Like, he has high expectations more than anybody, and I think that's something that I try not to get too involved in. I think we have so many good veterans that have gone through that. It's great for them to help them out, and I know they have. We just tell them as coaches to try and keep things simple when things aren't going 100% right your way, and that's the best way out of it. And sometimes guys want to go to step 10 instead of step 1, 2, 3, 4. So just reminding them on things like that. But he's shooting the puck more now, quicker, moving his feet a little quicker instead of thinking and looking for that perfect play. Sometimes there's not a perfect play, right away. So you just make the quick play and quick decisions. And I think I've noticed in the last 3-4 games things are really turning his way. And I think that's a credit to the strong veteran leadership helping him.
I mean, it's not fair to call it a sophomore slump, but what do you think guys sometimes go through that the second time through the rotation that might be a little more difficult? Yeah,
like I look at his stats, and 19 points to me is not a slump, but to him and in the outside expectations, probably thinking he could have more. And on a team that maybe had a little more success offensively, he probably would. You know what? I don't. I think he's a pretty calm mannerism guy. He gets worked up in the game. He gets fiery like all athletes do. But he seems to rebound back really quickly. And that's a sign of maturity, and I really like that.
What impact has Brody made on you so far?
He's been great. I think, just adjusting at the beginning, to new surroundings, new system and everything. But he's been playing great lately. I think he's just moving the puck. He's subtle, simple. Makes good little plays on breakouts. He's not afraid to get down and block shots. He shows a lot of guts, which really shows the camaraderie and his team first mentality, which is great. And I've seen him play for many years, and I've always liked him. And I wasn't surprised at all that he's starting to fit in with this group really well right now.
What stands out to you about this Leafs team with a new coach this year, a couple new defensemen?
Yeah, no, I think Ekman Larsson to me and Tanev, they're great additions. Both you wouldn't have thought maybe in years past Ekman Larsson was more an offensive guy, but you saw in the playoffs with Florida last year he just plays hard, a hard game now, a little bit more conservative than he used to be, but he still has that offensive flair that he can shoot a puck and move it. So I think those two guys on the back end, when you add big rangy D that can shut guys down, I think those are huge additions. Especially they were making goaltending changes. I think that's just a real good, solid, move in front of them. And I know Craig loves big D, so I think that works well for the coach.
For the game last night, how do you wind down after a game? You fly. Do you look at tape? Like how do you and how did the player Luke Richardson wind down after games?
Just being with your teammates. You just back when I played, discussing moments. I think you're in close quarters in the dressing room, on the bus, on the plane. Back then, you used to have roommates. Now, as a coach, I definitely look at the game, and I try and give the guys some good and some correctable things the next day. And I want to be consistent on that. I don't want to just do it when we win or when we have a poor outing or a poor loss. I want to do it both times, so we get a little bit better each day. And we're still a team finding our groove, and we got to do that.
What's worked for the power play? I mean, even since Seth went out, you're 6 for 15.
Yeah, keeping it simple. I thought like Donato's goal the other day, it's just how we start power plays. It's up and over, changing sides, where you have a little bit more room and shooting quick, and you get a lucky bounce off a stick. But you don't get the lucky bounces if you don't do the quick attacks early, like Donato. And then I think last night, you saw 3 totally different goals. So scoring goals in different ways. We're not just sticking to one thing where teams are going to nowadays watch video and be ready for it. So I think it keeps us fresh, and it keeps the other teams on their toes.
What have you seen from Teravainen lately? He said his confidence was low a few weeks ago, and there was like that pass in the 3-on-2 that kind of no one last night. Do you feel like he's still kind of struggling with this one?
You know what? He's a quiet guy. I'm not sure. It's hard to get a beat on everybody's personality this early in the season, but you know what? I think I rely on him a lot in different situations, and I move him around onto Dickinson's line for checking because he's got a great stick and great intuition out there. And then we have him on and off certain units in the power play and at the end of the games when we need a goal. He's one of those guys that I just kind of feel out how he's going in the game, and he's a good teammate, and I've talked to him many times, and he goes, I'm good to go wherever you need me. So we appreciate his professionalism, and I think down the road, his role will just grow and grow with us.
All right, there's Luke Richardson, courtesy of the Chicago Blackhawks, and we have some new lines. Not major changes, but significant changes. Your top line,
Admiral changes.
There you go, is now Bedard with Hall and Bertuzzi. So finally, Tyler Bertuzzi gets on the top line with Connor Bedard. Kurashev moved to second line center with Donato on the left side, Teravainen on the right. And then the last 2 lines remain the same. Dickinson, Foligno, Mikheyev, Reichel, Maroon, and Smith, Vlasic and Murphy, Kaiser, Martinez, Allen and Brody, and Arvid Soderblom in goal for the Hawks tonight. So wondering how much this Bertuzzi promotion has to do with the fact that it is the Leafs.
Probably 100%.
Yeah, I don't hate it. It's something
Yeah.
I've wanted to see all year.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't seen it yet. It's one of the few things that we haven't seen with all the lineup changes is Tyler Bertuzzi playing with Connor Bedard. So give it a shot. See if if Bertuzzi's got some extra gas tonight because he's playing against Toronto. If that motivates him and rubs off on Bedard, perfect. That's great. If it gets exposed that Tyler Bertuzzi, as shown on social media today by Jay Fresh Hockey, that he's one of the slowest forwards in the NHL, if it's exposed with Hall and Bedard, it probably won't go back to it. So we'll see what happens.
I didn't need a chart to tell me that Tyler Bertuzzi is
well, you got
one of the slowest players in the league. My eyeballs have been telling me that
Yeah.
for 22 games now. Okay. I mean, people have been wanting to see it. And I've always said, I think there's a reason because he doesn't have the speed to play on that top line. We'll find out. We'll see tonight. I know it's a revenge game, playing against the Leafs for the first time. He'll play against another one of his former teams on Wednesday against the Bruins. Playing against the Red Wings didn't seem to do much for him. I don't remember him doing much that game, but we'll see.
He's too far removed from the Red Wings.
Hey, that's the team that drafted you, and then they gave you up on you. You should never forgive them for that.
Eyes are playing.
But it's what? Yeah, sure. I mean, again, you keeping Hall and Bedard together. That should work. Kurashev has been, an enigma this season. I wrote about him in the post game chirps last night about how Luke wanted him to be more engaged and aggressive, especially away from the puck when he got back in the lineup. And you saw that a bit in the first period yesterday against Columbus. He was active on the forecheck. He was hunting pucks in the offensive zone, and then from there out, you didn't really see it the rest of the game, and that's been a problem not just for him but for this entire team. If you've spent more than 10 minutes listening to us this season,
really.
you know that's the issue. So, put him on that second line, with Donato, who has been your most consistent player all season long.
Pretty much, yeah.
He's the one guy this season you haven't had to worry about. He's the one guy this season that you know what you're going to get. I mean, you look up and down that lineup, everybody else, there's been games where you've been like, did that guy even play today? We've never said that about – the only time we've said that about Ryan Donato was the night he was actually healthy scratched.
Yeah, when he actually didn't play.
When he's been in the lineup,
Yeah.
he's noticeable every time.
Yeah,
you can't say that about anybody else on this team. So, who knows? I mean, Kurashev has been he's been fine at times, and he's been invisible at other times. And he's somebody that, when you talk about underachievers on this team, he's at the top of that list.
Yeah, he's -6 with 1 assist over the last 5 games and 4 shots on goal.
Yeah,
in that, he's just
not
he's
having
a
the
non-factor.
season everybody thought he would coming off of last year. So
Yeah, and it's not a lack of opportunity for him.
No,
it's
he gets healthy scratched and he's on the top line.
Yeah,
and doesn't take advantage of it. I mean, when you talk about guys that may need a wake-up call by having a kid from Rockford take their spot, that's one of them. Give me Colton Dock every night over Philip Kurashev at this point.
100%. Also, Crevier out, Allen in. I'm glad Allen is back in. Crevier wouldn't necessarily be the guy I would take out for him. TJ Brody remains in the lineup, and man, he's been better.
Yeah,
I think yesterday's game was a pretty big setback from him in terms of just corralling the puck and making the easy play. And I don't say making an easy play like having the puck and advancing out of the zone. I'm saying if the puck comes to him, getting it and not turning it over. He's really fighting the puck lately, especially yesterday against Columbus. I know the coaching staff sees things that we don't, but I don't know. I saw a pretty poor performance from TJ Brody yesterday. Maybe the fear is you don't want to put Allen and Crevier out there together for whatever reason. Maybe it's speed, maybe it's experience, but I don't know. I'd like to see Brody sit when things don't go, when he plays like that.
He has once this season. I really don't mind the swap of Allen and Crevier. I think there were moments where Crevier showed that he was basically a 7th defenseman in yesterday's game. But as much as, on ice production would say Brody's on that cusp of, needing a scratch again, a healthy scratch again, you're not going to sit him against Toronto. It's just he's coming back to play a former team. I think we know Luke at this time wouldn't scratch a vet in that situation. So that's why I'm not shocked that he's in. And
maybe a part of it is that Luke feels Brody plays better when he's got Allen there a little more.
Yeah, maybe
of a solid. And that's not a slam on Crevier. Crevier was fine these 3 games, but it's time to get Allen back in. You kind of took him out just to give him a rest, a reset, and then they, of course, the game he gets taken out is the 6-2 win over Dallas. You're not going to tinker with that, especially after Crevier scored in that game. Mm-hmm. And then the Minnesota game, was outside of 3 minutes, was a fine game, and then, now was your chance. You gave up 6 goals yesterday, changed the defense. But yeah, Brody wasn't great against Columbus, but that was his first real stinker of a game, and since he's been back in the lineup. So
that's fair.
If he has another bad one tonight, then maybe you think about, Crevier and Allen out there against Boston on Wednesday. But let the veteran's going to get the benefit of the doubt. You had a bad game. Okay, shake it off and get back out there today.
All right, before we wrap up, who's your Hawk? I had the second pick.
I'm rolling with Connor Bedard because he's on a 3-game point streak, so why the hell not? And I'm only 3 points out of second place right now.
For now.
Well, you're letting Mario run away with it, Mr. Negative Points over there.
Jay's got to
I'm
break
stopped
his
trusting my gut, and I went with
streak.
I went with the guy who played very well yesterday, Alex Vlasic. Super aggressive, shooting the puck, kind of taking it upon himself to be the guy who keeps it simple and makes the right play when he can. I think he's going to get rewarded with a goal tonight.
Ooh.
My prediction. So Alex Vlasic is my Hawk tonight.
Haven't seen many of those for the defenseman this year.
Nope.
My pick is Jason Dickinson because, as we learned last year, he's a former he's from the Toronto area, but the Leafs were never his team. So when he had his hat trick against the Leafs last season in that thrilling OT winner where Korchinski had the OT game-winning goal, Dickinson he had the extra juice that night. So I'm going to say, playing in his home area against not his former fan favorite team, he's going to do it again tonight.
All right. We'll see who's right during the postgame show.
None of us.
Thanks for tuning into the pregame presented by Coors Light. We'll talk to you after Hawks and Leafs on the CHGO Blackhawks podcast.
We all silly like the mayor.